welcome to our local non-league, of course, alongside Square Media and, of course, Repos Retail Solutions. And, of course, joining me as normal on a Sunday night, of course, he's Enfield Town's manager, Andy. And Andy, a good weekend for you?
Yeah, good weekend on the pitch. Yeah, a bit tiring. I've been away last week and didn't get back till the early hours of Saturday morning. So yes, certainly lifted me spirits and helped me recover with what we did yesterday, Dave. Definitely.
I mean, with the game yesterday, and say nice sort of 2-0 win is and Lyle and Jake getting on it. But I mean, what was your sort of feelings on the game yesterday? Did it go the way you wanted it to, or do you feel you can get a bit more? Or I mean, what was your thought?
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with us. Played okay. We just haven't got it. We'd lacked a bit of fluidity in all the games. Probably the Folkestone game, the first game of the season, one where we were, but we've changed some players around. I mean, yesterday, we had 3 players in with James Dayton, Bilal, Sayoud, and Scott Shulton really playing their first games. So that we trained together, Dave, but it isn't quite the same, when you get out there. But I was pleased with this first half. I thought we set about the job really well. I think the only effort they had was I clocked it on about 34, 35 minutes. So, defensively we're very sound. Just a bit disappointed. We were better in possession than we have been, but disappointed we didn't make more of the opportunities that we had. And at 1-0, no matter who you're playing, you're always vulnerable. But again, second half, a bit more of the same. I changed the shape sort of 15 minutes in just to try and get a bit of support around Cass, and it worked. And we looked more of a threat again. So yeah, generally a 6 or 7 out of 10, I guess, Dave, yesterday. Just disappointed to say we perhaps didn't rack up a couple of more goals, which I thought we warranted.
I mean, it seems like you must have kept your heads as well, though. In a way, I mean, you sort of you look at the Bowers list on football web pages, and it's just a complete sea of yellow.
Yeah,
was it that type of game?
Not really. I think we were, we were very lively in our sort of front 5 that we had on, and I think they found it a bit difficult to contain us. I mean, they made a substitution very early with their left back, I think, who had gone on a booking, but I think pretty much all their back 4 got on a booking. I mean, they were moaning and groaning, but I'll be honest, Dave, the decisions were by and large, they were correct. I know the referee was being assessed as well, so we had a couple given to us. Maybe on another day they wouldn't be given. I mean, don't forget, we got a red card at the end. Ryan Kerwin got a second yellow. Bit needless, but again, I said to the referee, did you have to do that? And he kind of nodded at me and sagely and said, well, yeah, I do. Maybe on another day I wouldn't. But yeah, it wasn't, wasn't that kind of game. I just thought they struggled to contain us when we were breaking at pace, running at them, whether it was Cass or Bilal or Lyle, we were causing them problems, and they were having to resort to whatever methods they could to stop us.
I mean, with the game, I mean, tough weekend, of course, bank holiday weekend. You've got another game, tomorrow as well against the sort of top of the table Potters Bar. So, I mean, when you get into that sort of scenario, this sort of weekend, and of course it happens again around the Easter time and Christmas time, does that sort of come into your mind about who you pick and when, or is it this early in the season that you look at it and go, look, I'm going to go with this team, and if we do okay on this game, then we're going to go and play exactly the same lineup for the week, for the Monday?
No, I think it does come into your thinking, Dave. It's a tough ask. Some players more than others, to do 2 90 minutes over 3 days, even at this stage. It's been quite an intense opening to the season as well. We're blessed with quite a large squad at the moment, so I'm due to talk to Maz, and when we finish talking tonight, we'll settle on who's going to be involved. We've got one missing tomorrow anyway that was always going to be missing. But we do tend to, look at the game and who we're playing and what we need to do. But most definitely, there's areas of the pitch where we will need to put a bit of energy into it. We feel we do anyway. I'll sit here in Marseille in an hour's time. I decided to the contrary, but no, it's a hard one. It's a tough one. It's been pretty demanding. A lot of these games have been played in very warm conditions. We've continued to train as well. Again, in kind of hot conditions. So it's been quite an intense opening couple of weeks. So we dropped a player out yesterday, just feeling one of hamstring. We've had a few of those kind of niggles as well. So we'll assess everything tonight and decide, based on what we know, what we need to do tomorrow. But I think it's safe to say, we will change some personnel.
Mm. And of course, does Ryan miss out tomorrow, or does he miss out on Saturday?
Next Saturday, yeah. It should be a 1-game ban, I think, for 2 yellows. So unfortunately, yes, he'll miss the FA Cup game.
Mm. And I mean, is it one of those things? I mean, you're looking at that sort of the FA Cup game, of course, can be as well. I mean, and I always ask managers this: is it one of those things for you that you get a little bit disheartened when you get you look at the team that you're about to play and you're looking forward to the draw for the FA Cup and so forth, and all of a sudden the draw comes out and you end up with somebody in your own league? Is that sort of a disappointment?
Not really. I quite like it because I think it genuinely will be like a league game. There's plenty at stake anyway, so I'm never too concerned. Managers will sit there and say, "Oh, yeah, we want a home draw against the lowest ranked opposition there is." Well, I've had those days as well, and they are, generally more difficult games than when you're playing teams at your level. So no, it's just the pleasure and the kind of thrill of being in the competition. I'm not disheartened or disappointed by who we've drawn. I'd perhaps prefer it was at home, but that's the draw, and we've got to go there and try and progress.
So I mean, with that coming as well on sort of Saturday with a game tomorrow. I take it. Do you train Tuesday or do you just train Thursday this week?
We'll probably just train on Thursday. Yeah, we probably wouldn't have them in on Tuesday unless there's anything that happens tomorrow that we feel we need to bring them in. But no, we'd probably just leave it till Thursday. I feel at the moment the players do need I'm not saying it's not a rest day, but just a break for it's been a really intense period. You think pre-season, you see each other 3 or 4 times a week, and then you're into the games. It's been Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So no, we won't bring them in. They'll need a rest physically Tuesday, Wednesday, ready to go again on Thursday.
Mm. And as you said, you look at your fixtures you've had already, and it's been a tough start, for Enfield. You've had Folkestone, Hornchurch, Kingstonian, Bowers. But when you actually look at the, with 2 or 3 of those sides in there, are probably going to be up there fighting for promotion and playoffs as well. How pleased are you that you look at you look at that sort of table and think, well, if we can, get 3 points at Potter's Bar on Monday, all of a sudden the chances are we're already in those sort of playoff positions. Does that make you then think to yourself, that's we're doing okay?
I'm going to sound like it's going to sound like all these managers and the cliche, but I'm actually saying what I've said for, I would say, at least the last 10 years, maybe longer. There's no point, no value looking at it until 10 or 12 games in, when everybody's played a cross section of the teams in the league, and only then I think can you start to get an idea of where you are. Yeah, in your mind's eye, as it were, you're just hoping you can, keep picking the points up and tick around kind of, your 2-point average per game if you can, make sure you're on track. But there's no real point at this stage, Dave. So much can happen. So much can change. Over the course of the season, but it has been tough. And I stand by what I said though earlier. I think we played 2 of the teams that will be in the top 5 in Hornchurch and Folkestone. We came out the wrong side of the Hornchurch game. It was an absolutely pulsating classic game for the level of football, but I'm disappointed we're on the wrong end of it. We lost concentration a couple of times at the end. Folkestone was probably, I think I've said to you before, was probably about the right result. Kingstonian last week, we just weren't quite right. We just weren't quite at it last Sunday in an attacking sense. Again, defensively, we're well drilled, well marshalled. So, bit of a contrast to last season already. I've said to anybody who'll listen, really, I can't see us racking up the 90 or 100 plus goals we got last year, although we have got plenty of goals in us. But equally, I'm not too concerned at that. If we're doing what we've been doing the last couple of games and keeping the back door shut, then I'm okay with that. So, no, in answer to your question, not really looking. Love to get the points on the board tomorrow. If we take 1 point, 4 out of the last 6, keeps us ticking along nicely. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough one tomorrow. I had a look at them a couple of weeks ago. They've changed their whole sort of mentality at Potter's Bar. They've certainly found some resources from somewhere, because I know I missed out on 1 or 2 of the players that they've got, and I thought I was offering them decent deals. But anyway, by the by, you can't judge teams like that. So it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a very physical game as well. They're a big, strong side this year, and so are we. So it's going to be a tough one tomorrow, Dave.
I mean, you look at some of the results though, Andy, don't you? And there's been some real sort of like eye-opening results. I mean, even at the weekend, Corinthian Casuals getting a draw against Lewis, and Kingstone a draw against Herne Bay, and and then Hornchurch going to Canvey Island and getting turned over 2-1. Bognor losing at home to Potter's Bar 2-1. Folkestone, they were down at half time and then came back to win 3-2. So everybody at the moment seems to be taking these points off of each other, where like last year Worthing was sort of like gone on the bus and driving away down the motorway, shall we say. But this year it's almost a case of everybody is sort of taking points off everybody, even very, very early.
Yeah, and again, I think you and I had that discussion a lot last year, didn't we? I mean, it took a while for Worthing to get away, didn't it? But they were always the benchmark, because what they'd done in the previous 2 or 3 seasons, and they dragged people along in the slipstream. And I think what's happened this year is you've probably got the 5 or 6 of the top 8 from last year that will make a serious contenders. But I think you've got another 3 or 4 teams now that have set the stall out, and so there's it's a bit more even league. I think I'm looking at the likes of probably Horsham, Potter's Bar, the way they've started. Those kind of teams now can be in the mix as well. But I think it's more even, Dave. I don't think anybody's going to get away with it, as you say. The results reflect that, but it is early. It is early. Teams have got players settling in, and they'll have. Strangely, it is strangely, but it is a time for injuries as well. Players are coming off the back of a, depending what type of pre-season they've had. So yeah, I think it's a more even league, but still just as competitive as ever. And I wasn't particularly surprised by any of those results. I think yesterday, Dave, maybe the Lewis one, but possibly Hornchurch. But yeah, it's going to be competitive. But I'm definitely not looking at it in with any serious eyes till at least 10 or 12 games. And I said the same last year. I think we got a bit carried away in our club, last year, because we had a great start, but it doesn't take much. You lose a couple of games, and as you've shown yesterday, you win one like us, and you jump up half the league, don't you? Half the table, So, yeah.
But it's a big games tomorrow as well, isn't it? I mean, it's yourself on Potter's Bar, Lewis and Hastings. You've got Hornchurch and Bishop Stortford as well in there as well. So I mean, it's some big games in and around. I mean, it's a big game, I suppose, as it's turned out early doors in Brightlingsea and Billericay as well. So I mean, there's some sort of really big games to be played tomorrow. But I mean, with Enfield, I mean, what's the injury status like? I mean, are we all okay? And and I suppose on the other side of it as well, are you still looking at bringing people in?
I can answer the second part pretty easy. We're not really looking too hard. I sound like this every time I speak to you, Dave. There is one position, there is one area of the pitch that I think we can perhaps do better, but we are where we are, and you know, we'll have to be patient. Injuries, we're slowly getting there. John Abbott works hard with the players. So yesterday, you know, we had James Dayton back. I've got, you know, John Malaba fit. I've still got Nathan Smith, who's not fully fit. Just trying to think on the injury front. We've just got a couple of niggles, you know, with big muscle injuries, you know, or niggles where we've had a lot of demand on the players, you know, over the last couple of weeks, and before that. So we're okay. We've got Andre Coker back available, which is great news. You know, Andre's been missing for a long time as a result of some indiscretions that, you know, on his part. But he's now back available, which is great news. Scotty Thomas is probably the only, you know, the one who's of concern. He fell on his shoulder at Hornchurch. We're not sure whether it dislocated itself and went back in, but he's been X-rayed. There's certainly sort of some kind of opening up of the ligaments, and it hasn't healed as quickly as it was 2 weeks ago. Near enough, hasn't healed as quickly as he thought or we thought. So unfortunately, Scotty's still missing, but Scott Shulton's back. Very similar players in that sense. And we're not short of options in the midfield area, but we do miss Scott. You know, he's a big player for us. Yeah, I fear he might be another couple of weeks, Dave, which is a blow, you know.
Yeah, especially at this time of the season when everything's very compact as well with fixtures as well.
Yeah. But say we're pretty well blessed. We got, you know, in the middle of the park, we've got Shulton, Sam Youngs. You know, we took the lad from Cheshunt to Blaze Riley Snow. We've got a young lad Gucci from Sutton United, who's on loan as well. We've got another good young lad out of our academy, Kian Wilkes. We've just sent him out to get some games outside of the club. So we're okay. We're all right at the moment.
Well, listen, mate. You know, it's we'll leave you to your phone call with Maz and as well. But thanks for joining us, Normal, and we'll speak again at the weekend.
Will do. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, mate.
Speak soon. Cheers, Dave.
Bye.